Hello everyone. In this pre-recorded session, we are going to tackle about weathering. What is weathering? Weathering is a process of breaking down rocks into smaller pieces. It turns bedrock into sediment, meaning from big rocks to smaller rocks. Weathering is what takes place when a body of rock is exposed to the weather. But what is weather? Weather is the state of the atmosphere at a place and time as regards heat, dryness, sunshine, wind, rain, or etc. Weathering goes on all around us, but it seems like such a slow and subtle process that it is easy to underestimate its importance. Yet, it is worth remembering that weathering is a basic part of the rock cycle and thus a key process in the Earth system. Weathering is also important to humans, even to those of us who are not studying geology, because many of the life-sustaining minerals and elements found in soil and ultimately in the food we eat were freed from solid rock by weathering process. So simply stating, weathering is the physical and chemical breakdown of rocks that are caused by the interaction between the three different spheres of the earth: the atmosphere, the lithosphere, and the hydrosphere. So weathering has two types. We have the physical weathering. It turns bedrock into smaller pieces, but it only changes in size, shape, and texture. And chemical weathering, it involves a chemical transformation of rock into one or more new compound. So in physical weathering, we have the frost waging, the biological or plant action, and the tree abrasion, the wind abrasion, the water abrasion, the ice abrasion, and the last one is the exfoliation or pressure unloading. Frost wedging is the freezing and thawing of water in cracks in the rock that causes alternate expansion and contraction of rocks, eventually breaking them apart. For example, a rock that has cracks is or have water in it, or has uh, or the rain deposit water in the cracks of the rock. And when the night came, the temperature fall to 0 degrees, and the water in the cracks of the rock freezes. That causes pressure and expansion of the rocks, because as the water in the rocks freezes, it expands the volume. But when a rock was break down by a plant, it is called plant action or biological action. So in plant action, the root system of the rock is the main reason why the rock breaks. On the other hand, we have the biological action. So biological action is the doings of humans and animals. Next, we go to the first kind of abrasion. We have the wind abrasion. So, wind abrasion, when wind causes sediments to have collision, physical weathering results. So, in wind abrasion, the rocks is being collided with each other. For example, a rock that is carried out by a wind was collided to another rock, and that causes um, breaking down of rocks. And we have the water abrasion. So water abrasion, it is almost the same as the wind abrasion, but it happens in a area where there is water. For example, in a river or in a falls, waterfalls. So as the water flows, the water that carries a rock will collide to another rock. So that causes to produce rounded and angular sediments. But in water abrasion, it occurs in moist and humid climates. Next is we have the ice abrasion, the same as the wind and the water abrasion, but this ice abrasion occurs in polar regions, specifically in glaciers when sediments are trapped within the ice and scrape against the bedrock, forming striation. Now we have the exfoliation or pressure unloading. So in exfoliation, it decreases in pressure that results from removal of overlying rock. Top layers are removed, releasing pressure, and the underlying rock then crack and fall apart. So in exfoliation, it is the peeling of rock because of the weather. It usually happens in the hot and cold climate, in the tropical region. And we have the chemical weathering. There are four types of chemical weathering: the oxidation, the hydration or the hydrolysis, the carbonation, and the leaching or dissolution. In oxidation, oxygen combines with minerals to form oxide or rust. This weakens the bedrock, making it softer and susceptible to weathering. So it forms a rust within the rock. So not only it can change the appearance of the rock, but also it can change the mineral composition of the rock. Now we have the carbonation. It is when pollutants like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and sulfuric oxide mix with rainwater or creating acid rain. So we go now to dehydration or hydrolysis. Hydration or hydrolysis, it is the minerals absorb water and chemically change the composition of the materials. The silicate being decomposed by the process of hydrolysis is basically the reaction with water. And we have the leaching or dissolution. Water is unique and dissolve most minerals and metals in our environment. So the dissolution is a process by which original states of matter turn into a liquid or other solvent and become solute. Now we have the three factors affecting the rates of weathering. We have the climate's different, the particle size and shape, the mineral and rock composition. And climatic factors, particularly temperature and moisture, are crucial to the rate of rock weathering. One important example from mechanical weathering is that the frequency of freeze thaw cycles greatly affect the amount of frost waging. So we have the climate differences, the cold and the humid climate, and we have the arid climate and the hot and humid. So particle size and shape also affects the uh, weathering of rock. So as particle size of a material decreases, the weathering rates increase, and when the surface are increases, it means that most sides are able to react with other elements that will cause it to weather down. So angular sediments have more surface area and weather at a faster rate, while rounded sediments have less surface area and weather rate decreases. And we have the mineral and rock composition. We have the strong chemical composition. Some rocks are resistant to weathering because of their composition. Rocks that have strong chemical composition are more resistant to weathering rather than the rock who have weak chemical composition. Rock characteristic encompasses all the chemical traits of rocks including mineral composition and solubility. In addition, physical features such as joint or cracks can be important because they influence the ability of water to penetrate the rock. That's all. Thank you.